Welcome to Determined to Succeed. I'm your host, Dawn, also known as Unique Connector. So I'm really intrigued to have this conversation with Reuben today. And one thing that we were talking about even before the show is just everybody's feeling that overwhelm and kind of anxiety right now. And so, Reuben, how can we make this simpler for people so they're not overwhelmed when it comes
Well,
to systems and programs?
that's a great question. And I think a lot of it depends on what kind of overwhelm you're feeling. And the problem that I see as somebody who sometimes feels this way myself is you get a little bit overwhelmed in one area of your life, and then before you know it, it bleeds into the other areas. And then suddenly you have this vicious cycle going on where everything is causing problems. And there are real crises in life that are overwhelming and that it's a natural healthy reaction to feel overwhelmed, but most of the crap we're dealing with day to day is just our own minds running away with us. And I
Mm,
think something that's been helpful for me sometimes that causes some overwhelm, like this morning some people came to do some yard work and my dog went crazy while I was trying to have a call with a client, and it wasn't necessarily the best, but it's fine. Everybody's okay. It's not the end of the world. And my dog is sort of like my guide to this because she lives in the moment.
yeah.
And she did think there was a huge crisis because some people came to the backyard. But once she realized that it wasn't a problem, she lay down by the door and just kind of took a nap and chilled out. And I think there's a lot that I try to learn watching her take up various poses around my office during the day about being present and just being connected and realizing, hey, there are some things that trigger stress responses, but getting more stressed about them only makes everything worse. Instead, if we can take a deep breath and think about, okay, what's really bothering me about this? Then maybe I can either realize I don't actually care about it, it's just a momentary thing, or okay, that emotion is telling me something important. I need to go generate more business or spend more time with my kids or both or whatever it might be. Let me figure out how to do that instead of just stressing out about it.
Ooh, I love that. And I love that you brought into an animal because sometimes it's those little things that we kind of overlook. And animals is a great one right there of like they see things. And sometimes too, like how they say dogs are the things that calm us. And they know when you need that moment. But I love that you're bringing that up because that's the one thing I feel like, which we were talking about earlier, is sometimes some people go into this entrepreneur world and it's almost this overwhelm. I know even for myself of all these different systems and processes, and you see other people in the success and all these things, and you always think that you're behind. Or
Hmm.
to incorporate, here's the programs you use, here's the technology you use. Don't go outside the box, don't think outside the box. Here's your process. And when you go into the entrepreneur world, it's kind of like the world's your oyster, and here you go, figure it out and create what you want, which is great, but also can be overwhelming. So, what comes up
Absolutely.
for you, Ruben, when I say that?
I think there's so much to that. I think a lot of us in corporate, we kind of chafe at the constraints and
Mhm.
think, oh, these constraints are bugging me. Therefore, I want more freedom, and more freedom is good. And working for myself is the ultimate freedom. And then you're right. There are a bunch of responsibilities that go along with that freedom. And I think you said something else that was interesting. No matter where we are in life, we can always point to somebody who is quote unquote further along, more successful, making it look easier, screwing up less as far as we can tell, etc. And think, gosh, what kind of idiot am I? And I think it's important, right, to not think you're doing everything perfectly, to recognize that there are things you can and maybe some things that you really should be doing better. But there's always going to be those examples. And I think we can use them in some cases to help guide us. But often it's the examples in the media are sort of the most far out, right? Like I got to watch a little bit of the Olympics over the weekend, and that was super fun.
Yeah.
And it sort of inspires me to want to work out more and exercise and be in better shape and all that. But I don't want to compare myself to the gold medal Olympian or even just the last place Olympian. It's just not going to be a helpful comparison,
Yeah.
right? I can't compete directly with them, but it can be inspiring. And I think if I beat myself up and said, gosh, I'm slower than the 100-meter gold medal winner, like what's that going to do for me? Nothing. But if
Yeah.
I think, oh gosh, it's nice to get out there and move, that's a good thing. And I think we can say the same thing about some of these entrepreneurial success stories that you see in the media. Like, I don't necessarily have to have $1 billion or a jet or anything like that, but realizing that person went and maybe had a bunch of conversations that might have been difficult for them to have, but that enabled them to open up their world. Like, that's something that we can take to our lives and apply directly today in a way that can be, I think, healthy and productive, and isn't about beating ourselves up. It's about realizing that maybe we're holding ourselves back a little bit.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the thing with our society. It's like, it's never good enough, And it's like, could we just be average and do our best and focus and show up as the best person that we are, take a moment when we need it and be okay with that. And I think that's the part too, where it's a different trend, I feel like, in our society because it's all about showing your success and this is how you got to do it the right way. This is the right framework that's going to work when there's a variety of ways to do it and no journey looks the same. And so, even for you, what made you dive into creating a CRM program for others? Because I think that's always the key part too, is like figuring out why people sometimes take a different path than where they were going. So, Reuben, let's even talk about your path and how you decided to take this path and journey.
Sure, and I'm happy to do that. And I do want to say that I think the notion of enough is something that we have lost, and that there are a lot of downsides to that. But I won't get into that because you asked me a question. I was a computer science person. I dealt with sales and marketing software for Fortune 500 companies. I started a consulting company to advise these giant firms on sales and marketing in a way that would sort of integrate the strategy and business process and technology. And I like to think that I did a good job, and we got referrals, we got repeat business, all the things that would indicate, hey, we must be doing something right. But
Yeah.
I really struggle with my own sales and marketing. And the more I tried to copy what my very successful clients were doing, the worse I made things for myself. And it's just so obvious now. But at the time, I thought, oh, sales and marketing, that's what I'm helping these companies do. Let me try to do what the most successful companies in the world are doing. And this kind of ties into what we were saying earlier, where a lot of times it's very unhealthy for me to try to work out like the gold medalist in the 100 meters. Like, I'm going to hurt myself. And if I try to do sales and marketing like a Fortune 500 company, I'm going to hurt my business and my pride and just not have a good time. And so over time, I kind of had to unlearn what I had learned and realize that for a boutique consulting firm or a solo consultant, things are very different. And I started building things to plug into the enterprise CRMs because when I thought CRM, I thought enterprise tools. And the first thing you notice is what's missing. And I started telling people about what I had done. Like, oh, I want to know when people are reading my proposals. And people said, oh, that would be really cool. I would love to have that. Can I have that? So I took this thing that was a tool for me and I made it an app. And then people kept asking for more stuff. And I kept trying to say, hey, that's not my thing. I already built this thing I didn't intend. Don't make me build more stuff. Even though as a software guy, I love building things. I didn't want to take on too much. And it's funny because it's so obvious in hindsight. But I would look at the space and I would try to find something just to recommend. And I realized that there were lots and lots of tools that nominally did the thing that they wanted, but nothing that was built for this tribe of independent consultants. So it might work for an e-commerce company, it might work for a big sales team, but here's why it didn't work for me when I was trying to do the same stuff as a consultant myself. And then I got to this point where people said, hey, I love your stuff that plugs into my CRM and I hate my CRM. Can you please just make Mimiran do the CRM too? Right? Like, oh, just throw that in there. Like, no big deal. Right. And of course, I said, no, the world doesn't need another CRM. And if for some reason it did, I would be the last person to build it. I hate CRMs because I've tried dozens of them. And people said, well, that's why you should do it because you get it. You hate them the same way I do. And eventually I got so frustrated that I was like, maybe I should listen to my customers. That's what I'm always telling them to do with their clients, right? Like, why am I fighting this? And again, I didn't want to take it on. It's a lot of work. It's not something that a sane person does. But I was like, there's a better way to do this. I just want a way to create and nurture relationships, not as a salesperson, but just as a human being who's kind of introverted, who doesn't like selling, but who needs to stay on top of follow up and wants to kind of going back to what we were talking about at the beginning. I don't want to feel overwhelmed. Like it's okay to have a long to-do list as long as I kind of understand what the to-do list is and I can work my way through it. What I don't want is to have this giant nebulous cloud of crap that I'm supposed to remember. And I'm always wondering, did I remember?
Hmm.
So it kind of comes full circle to what we were talking about earlier, where it's like, I don't necessarily need to run a 500 person sales team. I just need to remember Don and I are supposed to catch up, and so and I are supposed to catch up. And by the way, these people would be a great pair of people to introduce. Let's make that happen. Let's put some good karma into the world. And then before you know it, you're like, wait a second, am I actually enjoying this? Is this actually fun? I think it is.
Well, I love how you didn't give up when you said too, there's so many CRMs out there. There's so many of this. Because I feel like that's one thing too for a lot of people is, well, there's already all a bunch out there. Yeah, but they're not a unique skill set like you or a unique CRM like you, and I think that's the part too, is sometimes we need to overlook all the things and all the noise and all the stuff that's going on because you wouldn't have developed something that everybody else needs in a certain way. And that's the part too, where like what kept you driven to keep doing it and not give up, even though you see other people doing similar things to you.
Well, I mean, we've already mentioned maybe questioning my sanity.
I know.
Um, but I'm stubborn, and when I see something that I think is important and should be done better, I tend to just try to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And the
Mm,
other thing that I think is important that kind of ties in again to all these themes that we're talking about, it's, I'm not trying to create the next Salesforce. I'm not trying to create another, $500 billion company or whatever. I don't want to have thousands of people on staff. I want something that works really well for my tribe, that I'm proud of, that gives me a good living, that can allow me to work hard and do something meaningful, but also go on vacation, also spend time with my kids. And it kind of goes back to what we're talking about having enough, right? Like I don't need to have a giant IPO. I don't need my clients aren't trying to build that kind of business. We want to do something that matters, and it can matter to a relatively small tribe of people because we're not constrained to like only helping the people in our immediate geographic village. We have a sort of global geography, most of us, for what we can help people with. So we can be really focused on who is an ideal fit, whether it's for my CRM or for my customers, who are they trying to work with? And I think that's one of the big secrets to lessening the overwhelm, lessening the stress, and also feeling a lot more fulfilled, right? It's like instead of trying to fit the square peg into the round hole, you say, well, I only deal with, eight-pointed star-shaped holes or whatever it is. And then you find those people where you have a great connection, where everything works well, where they're really happy to, oh my gosh, where have you been all my life, Don? This is wonderful. I've struggled for years and now you finally unlock this for me, right? That feels really good. These people want to pay your rates. They make good introductions to other people who need your help. It makes the marketing so much easier. And it also makes it easier for you because you can say, hey, I don't think you're the right fit for me to so many
mhm.
people instead of struggling so hard to try to make it work, to try to land the client, and then realizing, oh crap, why did I do that? Because now I've got this nightmare client that is not just a pain in the neck in this project, but it's sucking the life out of me with all my other clients, with my family, blah, 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 blah. Right. We can be very focused. And I think that's something that I don't know how to have. I don't have the right words, but I think it kind of goes back to what you're saying about enough. Like we don't need to turn this into a giant mega enterprise. We just need to make a good living. There's nothing wrong with making a good living. I'm all for that. Um, but we also want to do it in a way that provides not just money but meaning.
And I think that's perfect example of like redefining success too. Because some people just think success is that huge, big enterprise and that big, big, huge something. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be. And like, look at all the people that you're helping and, you're making their business smoother and more effective. And it too goes back to even how you were saying earlier about nurturing relationships. That's what the focus is about. And, it's kind of goes back to even too getting referrals the way you're going to get referrals is by nurturing those relationships. And it's, showing up and um, building a deep relationship. And it's not just about all the tools and the systems that you got behind the scenes or the email campaign and whatnot. It's how are you nurturing the relationship? And so when you hear people complaining about, I need more referrals, what's kind of something that you like to tell them?
Well, I mean, you're really the connector expert here, but for me, it's very simple. Like I spent years relying on referrals, but not doing anything intentional to get them, which was a giant mistake. So I feel like I do have some things to say on this subject.
Yep.
Most people make it very hard to refer them. They don't have a clear-cut ideal client profile. They have a possible client profile. And I like to tell people PCP is a very dangerous drug and we want to get really, really specific. Like you wouldn't want to go in like I have a titanium screw in the shoulder because I had some shoulder issues, right? I didn't just walk into the hospital and hope to find a doctor or even an orthopedist, right? I wanted to go to somebody who specialized in fixing this type of shoulder injury. And if you're on an airplane, they'll take whatever doctor they can get. But when you walk into the hospital, you don't want to have just any random doctor. You want the person who's really there focused on you, right? I got referred to that doctor by somebody who was like, "Oh, you have this thing. You need to go talk to this one." Right? Very, very clear. And then of course, he's got all the knowledge and the history and can talk about this in the right way, et cetera. But if I had walked into the hospital and someone else was standing outside saying, "Hey, your skin looks a little splotchy or something. I'm a dermatologist. Come see me." Right? Would that work well? Of course
Mm.
not. It's completely absurd, but that's the way a lot of people do this. They're like, "Oh, I'm a marketing consultant. Your website isn't great. I could help you fix your website." And that may well be true. But if we're walking into the hospital to get our shoulder fixed, we're not going to stop and talk to the dermatologist. So get really specific about who that ideal customer is. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is referrals are relationship driven, as you know very well. And something that also took me years to learn is if you're in a relationship business, you're in a conversation business. And the way you deal with that is to have conversations. So you put those two things together, you have this two-step process, figure out exactly who you want to talk to and talk to them, have conversations with them. And if you do that, good things are going to happen. Doesn't mean they're going to happen instantly, doesn't mean that any particular conversation is going to lead to a referral, but over time you're going to create a virtuous cycle. Especially if you're listening and you're a good connector as well, and you're making introductions for people. And the more specific you get, the easier it is for you to say, "Hey, Dawn, this person isn't right for me. I think you would be better off handling them." Well, what are they going to say next time they find somebody who isn't quite the right fit for them? They're going to send them back to you, and good karma happens. But unfortunately, when we're in that overwhelmed state where everything feels like the sky is falling and we need to pay the mortgage, make payroll, whatever it is at the end of the month, then suddenly everything looks like, "Oh my gosh, I've got to go close that person. I don't want to refer them to someone else. It's all about me, 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 now, now, now. I'm just so overwhelmed. I don't have time to think about all this." Instead, it's like, take a deep breath. Let's get really specific and have good conversations and make the good karmic introductions to other people. Make sure our website is saying the right things. Make sure our social media is saying the right things about the ideal client profile, not the possible client profile. And before you know it, you establish your niche and you are the shoulder specialist who gets all the referrals for the people who need the shoulder surgery.
Mm, I love that. And I love how you giving a bunch of different analogies and scenarios here for people and the listeners to really understand that. And I think that's the part for, even me too, is like, yeah, I love connecting with people. I'm not perfect at it. And I think that's the reminder too to everybody is you can't be perfect at everything. And not everybody is ideal for you. And you've brought it up a couple of times too, of where finding that ideal person where it's kind of okay to pass them off to somebody else. It's kind of like even with your system too. It's like it might not fit everybody, but it's okay. And I think that's another part for some people too of why overwhelm and anxiety is because they're trying to accommodate to everybody. They
Hmm.
don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. They don't want to miss on an opportunity. They don't want to miss out on a sale. And I think that's the reminder too, is to everybody is you can't help everybody. And you're never going to be able to help all those people. And you wouldn't even be able to help all of them in your business. Like you wouldn't even be able to have that capacity. So I really appreciate we kind of gave a wide span of different things today, Ruben, but what's even one last word of wisdom that you would love to leave the listeners today? Because we covered kind of a lot today.
Well, I think E.M. Foster said this, only connect. And, as an introvert who has used all kinds of technological tools to get out of having conversations,
Yeah.
uh, I would say keep that in mind, right? When in doubt, have the conversation, whether it's with a family member or a friend you haven't talked to in a while, a past colleague, a prospect, a partner. We are inundated with automated, AI generated,
Yes.
outsourced crap.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's all crap, but it's low value. It is not a replacement for a conversation. It should facilitate conversations instead of substituting for them. And I know so many people, myself included, who went down that rabbit hole of thinking I could get out of having conversations and making everything so much harder for myself and so much less fun.
Mm.
When instead I was thinking about, is this tool going to help me have more better conversations? If so, great. If not, then it's not the right tool for me if I'm in a relationship business.
Ooh, I love that, Ruben, and especially coming from an introvert too, that you're saying this because I think so many people don't want to think that way. And so I appreciate you saying that. And I appreciate that we were able to meet and connect. And that's the part I think the beauty of this virtual world and being able to meet people across the world or across, the US that we never would have had the opportunity to ever meet in person. So I really appreciate you, Ruben, being on the show today. Keep shining bright. And I hope the listeners check out your CRM and connect with you. And I really am proud of you.
Oh, thanks so much, Don. It's been great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.